Okay, so I'm gonna tell you Colt's story. Now, every parent, when their kid's born, there's a movie that runs. Does that make sense? What movie's gonna run? What do you think? What movie ran in my head when Colt was born? What movie goes through a parent's mind? It's not a movie. What movie's gonna go through a parent's mind when their kid's born? Yes. Their life. You're going to see their life. You're going to see things that are going to, what you imagine them doing. Take a wild guess what my movie for my first boy was going to be. Scoring touchdowns, winning trophies. Now, I will tell you, I loved when my boys played sports. I do love that. If they don't want to, I don't want them to. I want them to because I love it so much. But if they don't want to, they better be the best at whatever they're doing. The old joke was, people would say, well, what if your kid's the band? Well, they better be the best band guy there is. If they're going to do that, they need to be the best. But whatever they want to do, whatever they're made to do, that's fine. Now, if I had been a math professor, I would expect them to know math, right? They grew up in my house. I guess you'd have to kind of know something about football growing up in my house. That would just happen. Even if I didn't force it, it probably happened. So they all did kind of grow up liking sports and stuff. Colt, when he was a junior, my movie was 300 hurdles, mile relay, scoring touchdowns, running back, number 28. None of that happened. That didn't happen. That's fine. It turned out the way he was supposed to. He did good. I was really proud that when in the huddle, whenever they called the play, every offensive line looked at him and he would. So he knew everything everybody was supposed to do. What's that? Yeah, but he had the right answers. His junior year, summer before his senior year, him and Ryan Norwood went to Steve F. Austin. They was touring it, and the person said, now it's going to cost around $23,000 total for everything. And Ryan looks at Colt and says, Wyoming's $27,000. Colt comes home and tells Mom, I want to go to the University of Wyoming. And Christy told me that, and I was like, Colt, where did that come from? Why and where? He said, it's not hot, it's beautiful, and it's Division I. Okay, that's 3 good arguments right there. So Mama said, if you apply and get accepted, you can go visit. So he applied. He got a letter back saying, because he's going to be a trainer. He want to be an athletic trainer. He said, I want your life, but I don't want to have to deal with wins, losses, playing time. I want that life, but I don't want to deal with everything else. I said, okay, I get you. To be in the training program, it's part of the science stuff and medical stuff, and so you had to make a certain grade on this part of your CT, ACT, SAT, whatever, and you had to score a couple more higher points. And next week, you got a letter that said, you're accepted. So that was weird. Then after football's over, the Friday after football's over, him and Ryan and Mama and Miss Norwood and Jared Richardson drove up, skipped school Friday, drove up to Wyoming. He was going to visit, come home Sunday. Saturday afternoon, I got a call from little Christy. She said, the car's in the shop. And I said, well, Christy, that's great because I'm excited about what the outcome is. I said, no, it can't be that you. And she said, stop. It's in the shop. I smelled something in New Mexico. There's Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming. New Mexico, I smelled something and it went away, but then I figured I better get it looked at, and there's no oil in the engine. So there was some sort of mess up and the oil leaked in New Mexico. She drove through Colorado into Wyoming with no oil. That's bad. That engine is fried. Nothing wrong with the engine. The engine's perfect. Have to replace a part. It's under warranty. We don't have to pay for it. It's ready Thursday. We can't. That's not. The car dealership is going to drive her and the boys to Denver to get a rent-a-car to drive back to Dallas. We can't afford to. Insurance is paying for the rent-a-car. Now, while they're there, see, Colt and Ryan wanted to talk to the trainer while they were up there, but they were away in the away game that weekend. Couldn't talk to him. One of the salesmen at the car place says, hey, couldn't help overhearing. I used to be quarterback at Wyoming. I know the trainer. I've got his phone number. So they set up an interview. The next week, we had a little bit of money because my mom and dad had died. And so me and Ryan and Colt and Jared and Pacer are going to fly up to Denver. The car dealership is going to pick us up at next Friday, take us to the car. He has an interview Saturday morning at 9 with the trainer. So we fly up, meet the trainer. He gets a job. Him and Ryan both have jobs working with the training department. They're not trainers, but they get to be at practices, they get to be at the games, they're a part of everything. $9 an hour. About $400 or $500 a month. Would that have happened if the car wasn't broken? No. So all that, and we got to spend the night Saturday, we got to go to the game Saturday. It was a big game because they're playing San Diego State, who was in the conference championship. If they beat San Diego State, they play in Laramie for the conference championship 2 weeks from then. So big game. Stadium's packed. We get free tickets. They've got a quarterback that a couple of y'all might have heard of before. Plays for Buffalo. Anybody know Buffalo's quarterback? Josh Allen. They should have gone to the Super Bowl last year. He's one of the best in the NFL. He was Wyoming's quarterback. Colt taught him how to deep snap. Colt, it was announced by Josh Allen and one of the offensive linemen that Colt is the only one that can make Gatorade because I taught him how to make Gatorade. And they stopped one practice. They said, hey, who made the Gatorade? And Colt was like, he's doing it for the rest of the year. You got that? Because he knows how. You have a 5-gallon bag, powder, 5-gallon bag. You mix it with 4 gallons of water, and you put ice in it after you've mixed it. That's how you make Gatorade. Just remind you, for y'all, for make Gatorade, that's how you do it. Right? At the game, they're winning by 3 points. San Diego State gets in within touchdown range, and they field goal range. They kick a field goal to tie the game. No time on the clock. They kick the field goal, and it misses. Crowd goes nuts. Storm the field. We're on the field. It's a Division I school, but it has this small town feel. It's like a high school. It's really a cool. It's not like this is awesome. Ref comes in. Nope. Mess up. There was some penalty or something, so it moves them up. Now they're going to go to try to win the game. They're going to try to score a touchdown. Me and all the boys are on the railing. We didn't go to the seats. We stayed on the railing. They try a pass, incomplete. Storm the field again. On ESPN, on the highlights, they had a camera on the scoreboard looking down. Pacer and Ryan took off when the ball was snapped. And they're sprinting on the field as the pass goes incomplete. And there's 2 bodies sprinting on the field. That's Ryan and Pacer running on the field. They meet the team. The trainer's talking to Colt and Ryan after the game, and the people are putting stuff up. It's like, Colt, Ryan, start putting stuff away. So they go over there. They're helping them load everything up. He goes up there. You get to see him on TV. He's on college football final. My goal, one of my dreams was one of my boys would be on college football final. They do all the college highlights. They showed Josh Allen on the bench. They're playing Oregon, and it's like the screen is here. His face is right there. And you see Colt walk up, offer him some water, and he takes it, and Colt takes it and walks off. So he's on college football final. He moves up the ranks. He's in charge. They put him and Ryan in charge of a bunch of stuff because they realize they know what's going on. None of these other people played anything, so they don't know what's going on, but they understand and get it. The next year, he calls and said, Dad, I'm not going to be a trainer. I said, okay, what's going on? He goes, I want to be an NFL scout. And I went, okay. Sure, you and about 3,000 other people, and most of them played and know people. Usually, water boys that were all district and 3A in Texas don't get to be NFL scouts. That you usually have to have more than that. But he said, I want to work with the recruiting office, and I'd like to work for a college as a recruiter or an NFL scout players. I said, great, how much does that pay? He says, well, it's volunteer, it's nothing. So the dad's like, oh, great. So, we got nothing. We can't give you, you're on your own. Fine, if that's what you want to do, that's great. I wasn't so proud of you, son. Way to go. I was. He does it for a while. He starts in January. March comes along. We are at Six Flags. Me and Titan and Mama. We're in line for the Judge Roy screen. I got my Wyoming cap on. What's the difference between a cap and a hat? Major difference. There's no baseball hats anywhere. There's no such thing as a baseball hat. Why not? What's a hat? There's baseball caps, but there's not baseball hats.
Something has a rim all the way around.
This is a hat. This is a cap. Right? So you learned something now today. No matter what, you learned something. I'm wearing my Wyoming cap, and this guy's in front of us, kind of a big guy, and he's got a son, and I don't ever mean to not be politically correct. I'm just a dinosaur and I don't know. He has a son, like a teenage son, and he's got some problems, all right? And little Christy is always drawn to that, so they're talking, and she's talking to him and the little boy and stuff. Well, he looks at my cap and goes, hey, Wyoming, you don't see that very often. I said, yeah, so my son goes there. He goes, I said, well, he works the football team. He was a trainer. Now I think he wants to be an NFL scout or a recruiter or something. I said it kind of like that. He goes, well, I'm a recruiter for Alabama. I recruit Texas and Oklahoma. And me and Christy had a lot of discussions. Are you sure is this something he can do? Is this what he? And I looked at Christy. I said, well, I don't know. Is this what he's supposed to be doing or not? Because that doesn't happen. You don't have an Alabama recruiter start talking to you out of the blue. And he said, well, I can give you my phone number and can call me. We can talk about it. Okay, so there's that. He does that for a couple years. By the end of it, they're giving him game tapes of kids, and his job is to watch them and grade the kids. So they're giving him the responsibility of figuring out this kid can play or not. He gives them grades on all the techniques, all their footwork, he does all the little things, and he knows what to look for. He's learned what to look for. And if he says this kid needs to be recruited, then the head recruiter will look at it and determine yeah or no on it. So he kind of sifts through the players. He calls me the end of his junior year and says, Dad, I don't want to be a scout or recruiter anymore. I said, okay. What now? He says, I think I want to coach. And I said, I thought that when you were 5. Because just the way I watched him. Did he waste his time?
No, he was learning new things.
What did he learn to do in the recruiting office?
Watch the details.
He learned the technique to be a perfect running back, to be a perfect offensive lineman, quarterback, receiver, defensive back. So it prepared him to coach literally any position on the football team. Plus, he grew up going to practice since he was 5, and he's ready. He's more ready than I was 10 years into it. So it wasn't the road I picked for him or imagined. It's pretty good. He's on a good little track here. I'm going to show you some pictures. And take what this goes along with the same theme. The theme of bad things happening always are going to have a chance to lead to good things. If I'd have quit and not gone to track with Coach Morris, would that have worked out good? Remember, he told me to keep coming. And if I wouldn't have showed up, would I be ready for Van Alstyne coaching? No. So I can mess it up. But if this tragedy happens, as long as you keep plugging and keep going the right direction, good things will turn out. Better things will turn out. So this is another example of that. I love the Packers. Let me just tell you, if you hate football, you're not going to hate this class. She's not going to relate to what I can relate to. Yeah. I love the Packers because I love history and I love football. Green Bay is a town of 100,000 people. It's smaller than Denton. The biggest thing in the town is the stadium and the courthouse. If you buy a Cowboys shirt, who gets the money? Huh? No. Jerry Jones. You're buying their helicopters and yachts. When you pay the $175 parking, Jerry Jones gets the money. When you buy a Packers shirt, where is it at? Oh, it is. There is no owner. No family makes money off the Packers. The Packers get the money. The organization gets the money. There's 200,000 shareholders that make decisions for the team, but no one makes a dollar off the Packers. It's owned by the community and Pacer and Colt and Titan. Pacer and Colt share one share. Titan has his own. Because they sell them at different times. They only sell them at certain times. They sold them when the boys were like intermediate school, and they sold it last year. So Titan got one of those. So it's a special place. It's like a college thing, where everybody's kind of wrapped up in it. A big, huge high school is what it is. They've got that kind of spirit. When Colt was born, I knew Colt. I didn't know his middle name. Me and Christy talked about what his middle name could be, and she said, "What about Lambeau?" Curly Lambeau started the Packers in 1919. The field is called Lambeau Field. I looked at her, tear coming down my eyes, and I said, "You're the greatest in history." So yes, Colt Lambeau is his middle name. And I always wanted to go to Lambeau Field and take a picture of Colt in front of Lambeau Field. But we don't go on vacation because it costs money, and we have house payments and air conditioning payments and food payments, so we don't go on vacation. Pacer's born, and his was going to be Pacer Landry. Now, I'm not a fan of the Cowboys, but I love Tom Landry. He was their original coach, good man. And I was watching some stuff on ESPN, they did a documentary on Niall Kinnick, and I'd forgotten about Niall Kinnick. Niall Kinnick won the Heisman Trophy in Iowa in the 30s. He beat Notre Dame, which is, it'd be like, okay, Texas plays Alabama this year. They're going to get beat. But it would be like, Houston Cougars beat Alabama. Shocking, right? He beat Notre Dame, won the Heisman Trophy, and he was a World War II hero. He died in World War II. He saved lives in World War II. So Pacer's going to be Pacer Kinnick, named after Niall Kinnick. Iowa's football field is Kinnick Stadium. So I always wanted to go up to Iowa, take a picture of Pacer in Kinnick Stadium, and then go to Lambeau Field and take a picture. But I always never did. Well, some friends of ours work for American Airlines. And as an employee, you can fly and pay for the taxes and not buy a ticket and still fly. So they basically let us pay like 25% of the cost of the ticket, but we get to fly. So we're flying to Green Bay, spring break of 2009, just to see the stuff, and through the stadium and all that. I'm excited and happy, but I won't get Pacer's picture. I can get Colt's picture, not Pacer's. So we go to Green Bay, it's March, it's 45 degrees, 45, 50 degrees, no wind, just still. And the boys, it snowed that week, so they plowed all the snow over. They'd never seen snow as tall as them. We stopped and get Colt's picture first. So I got my picture, Lambeau Field. I went ahead and said, "Here, Pacer, go ahead. You won't get yours, but we can fake it." So there we go. Then we go to the hotel. We check in. You have a debit card. Here's the economics lesson. We go to eat. Here's a restaurant across the street from the hotel. I have a double hamburger with a bratwurst patty. It's a hamburger patty and a bratwurst patty. A bratwurst is a hamburger. It is as a hot dog, but good. Okay? Bratwurst patty is 10 times better than a bratwurst. One of the most amazing things I've ever eaten. need some stuff in my life. Pacer ordered sweet tea, and the lady looked at him and we don't have that. He looked at me like, everywhere we went, somehow they knew we wasn't from there. I don't know how they knew we wasn't from there. But they talked to us and we'd answer them and they'd say, "Oh, we're not from Wisconsin, are you?" And we'd go, "No, we ain't from there." Well, they'd wonder why. They'd say, "What are you doing? No, what are you doing?" Well, Packers, Lambeau. Oh, they'd freak out. Texas boy, their name Lambeau. They thought that's the greatest thing ever. We go to pay. Christy needs a card. I come back. It's been declined. Here's how it worked. It was the end of the month, so we scrimped up some money and we had money for food and the Hall of Fame tickets and Thurs Aug. That's Wednesday. Friday we're going to leave and we get paid on Friday, so we're paying for the hotel Friday. So it's all spaced out. Well, the card gets declined. There's nothing on it. When you check into a hotel or reserve a hotel with a debit card, most times the money comes out by me. Credit card, it won't. You'll pay for it when you leave. But debit card, a lot of times, we had no money. And so I'm like, Christy, it's okay. Everything's going to work out. No, this can't work. Because here we are in Green Bay with no money. We can't go to the stadium. We can't go to the Hall of Fame. We're sitting here in a hotel and we can't eat. So I'm freaking out. She calls the bank. A couple hours on the phone. It's the bank connected with the hotel. They explain everything, and everything's fine. So the next day we walk the 2 blocks to the stadium. And before we went, the boys wanted autographs. I said, look, we're not going to be around any players. If they're there, they're going to be in the locker room. We're not going to be hanging around the stadium. We walk in the stadium, there's Nick Barnett, middle linebacker, giving the boys autograph. Then we go and get the tour. The guy that gave the tour, this won't do him justice. He looked exactly like I pictured the guy who the Lambeau Field tour would look. He had the accent, and he had this gravelly voice to go along. It was perfect. And he's talking, and he's explaining everything we're going to go see and do. And I'm listening to him talk, and I look down, and there's the 2 little boys looking at him, and I'm realizing I'm at Lambeau Field with my little boys. And tears starts coming down. And Christy was over. I said, Christy, just imagine we're at a mall, okay? That's the only thing I can do to relate to it. You're taking the boys to a mall, okay? Oh, this is wonderful. Get to see all kinds of stuff. That's the closest. That's Paul Honey's Heisman Trophy, closest they'll ever get to a Heisman Trophy. What else we got? Oh, we get down to the tunnel by the locker room where they enter the stadium. And the guy stops and says, they rebuilt the stadium 3 years ago. They moved the tunnel and the locker room from one side of the field to the other. And they cut out chunks of the cement walkway where the old historic Packers all had walked on. And they moved that over to the new side. So he explains that. Here's the chunks of cement that they put there. If you go to visit Lambeau Field, do we assume you're interested in the Packers? If you're going to go on a tour of Lambeau Field, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go to Cowboys Stadium and tour that. He explains the cement there, we go, son. And they just walk on. I'm like, what are you doing? It's a cold Pacer, stop right here. Christy, take a picture. This is important. This guy here is with the church. He's that helper guy. He sees us and he understands. He goes, whoa, these people get it. They understand. So he starts hanging with us and giving us little extra things and giving us places. I'll tell you part of the end of the story. We don't make it home Friday night. Saturday afternoon, we're scheduled to get church directory pictures, which is one of the worst things in the history of the world. Because no one matches in life. We're not all wearing pink shirts together. We're not all wearing blue, and the boys wearing this, and we're wearing, no, we don't do that. And no one sits like this, ever. So I'm not excited about church directory pictures. However, this, because we didn't make it home in time, this was our church director picture. That's the greatest church director picture, yeah. I'll see that. She's standing by me, by the way. So we get, before the tour, we show up in the stadium. And this starts happening. What's that? Snow. Not snow, but calm, no wind, 31 degrees, perfect, big, huge flakes. So no one's miserable. Everybody just gets to sit there and see the snow. Colt takes a picture of me and Mama in front of Curly Lambeau's statue. I want you to notice this. Where does this go? Look at that picture. She doesn't look disgusted. Hot Babe is standing within an atom of me and getting closer and smiling.
And you're not even smiling.
And in the picture, you don't, you just look normal. There's no need to go, that looks stupid. See the normal face.
You look angry.
Well, it got kind of bright. It was kind of bright. So we take the tour. In the Hall of Fame, they've got a mixture of exhibits and also like stuff for little kids to do. Like, you know, I guess they got it interactive. They got a mock-up of Coach Lombardi's desk, and Bill Christie said, "Why don't you get on there and like you're talking to the boys?" So we did that, and then Colt said, "Well, I want to sit there," and he understands, he gets it. He understands the magnitude of the importance of that. And then Pacer said, "Well, I want one too," and he does not understand the importance of the magnitude. And they got the little kids Lambeau League whenever the Packers score, they run and jump in the stands, and it's like a big celebration. They have a little mock-up for the kids, and Pacer runs up there and jumps, and Colt runs up there and jumps. And then I said, "Mama, why don't you run up there and jump?" She goes, "I will if we don't take a picture." And then so after the tour, we go, oh, let me show you this. This explains Green Bay a little bit. The practice field all this is in a neighborhood, just houses. Not Highland Park houses, but downtown Paradise and Chico houses, just houses, right? The practice field is across the street from the stadium. The kids in the neighborhood ride their bikes to practice. And after practice, every player picks a kid. And the kid carries the pads, and the guy rides the bike. And that's their kid for the whole season. And every practice, the kid's there, and they form these relationships. That doesn't happen in Frisco at Cowboys practices. At Packers have it. So we go to eat at the restaurant there in the stadium. And the waitress take our order, and once again, she's like, "Well, what do you want?" Packers, Texas, hello. Oh. And the chef comes out, and he brings us a frozen tundra. No. That's a frozen tundra. $14.95 in 2009. It's layered ice cream with like this little brownie thing on the bottom, and then the stuff, and that's the knife you cut it with. For free, just because we're cool parents. Here's another view of it. Shows you how big it is. Boys weren't happy at all. So we go back to the hotel. I'll tell you this too. This is, I never thought of this. We went to the restaurant in the hotel and they had pizza. So they got all, Pacer wanted a hamburger pizza. I said, "What? Hamburger pizza?" I said, "Okay, they never heard of that." So they bring out a pizza where they had grilled hamburgers and like cut up little pieces of it. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. It was 10 times better than normal little hamburger pizza. There's like pieces of actual patty. Hamburger patty was so good. You wake up, you gotta get to the airport early. Green Bay Airport is not DFW. It's nice, it's just little. You're flying standby, which means if there's an empty seat, you get it. It was full the first flight. at 6. Full the next flight at 7:30. Full the next flight at 10. So we spend our time sitting on the couch in Green Bay Airport. 12:30 flight, we get on. Fly to Chicago. Get off, take our bags are going to Dallas. There's a flight every hour to Dallas, so I'm not worried. 4 o'clock, booked. 5 o'clock, booked. 6 o'clock, booked. 7 o'clock, booked. By the time we get to the 8 o'clock flight, the little person up there tells Christy, we've overbooked every flight, which means they've sold tickets to more people than they have seats for every flight. So people that have tickets have to not show up for us to get on the flight. And she said, by the way, y'all are 81st on the standby list. You're not getting out of here until Tuesday. I looked at Christy and said, Christy's going to be fine. Everything's going to work out. No, I didn't. I started freaking out. This can't. No, we have to be at work. We don't have money for it. We do have money for this, but that's our rent and our food and our, we don't have extra. So she finds this reasonable hotel near the airport. That's Chicago Airport. And this, I think it was like $80. Now, it's still freaking me out because that means that's $80 worth of food we don't have that month. So we go to the hotel, the Marriott, Chicago Airport. How do you think the employees are?
Don't want to get on it.
They're amazing.
Oh, they're amazing.
I thought, oh my God, these are the decent prayer.
Yeah.
Wonderful human beings. Amazing, kind, thoughtful, generous human beings. We walk up to check in, and Christy's kind of tearing up, and they're like, what's wrong? And she tells us. And they're like, they start, well, can we get you this? Do you need this? I got stuff at home. They did let us check in, and they said, look, you don't have to check out tomorrow. We know you're going to keep trying to get out of here. If you get on a flight, just call us and we'll cancel it. But you've got a room here. We'll just keep it. And they're most helpful people there. The boys thought it was amazing. We look out the hotel room, and this was the view. Indoor, outdoor pool. Now our bags are gone. They're in Dallas. We should have gotten in a suitcase and gone to Dallas. Somehow moms, like we didn't have money to pay for the food, she pulled like a 20 out. Moms had like this stuff happens, they pull stuff out of the purse. Somehow there was bathing suits in her little extra bag she kind of kept for herself. And we had the shirts, the boys, because we have to dress up. We have to be the employees. We have to have slacks. Slacks don't make you a pansy, but they don't help. We had boots and slacks and like a polo shirt deal. Somehow, the boys had like these sweatpants she kept, but we all had our boots. And then, anyway, she had stuff. So the boys are having fun. I'm going crazy because we have to leave and we can't. And I don't know what to do. Well, next morning, we get up early, we get up at 3:30, we have to get back to the hotel, not the hotel, the airport to try. We have to try. We get on the shuttle goes around and picks people up from all the airports. This is during the recession of 2009. Supposedly everybody's out of work, and there's no money anywhere, but people are going on trips. I was very confused because the news tells me no one has money, but all these people are flying around on trips. This family is going skiing. And it's like grandma, grandpa, there's moms, dads, uncles, aunts, cousins, all these people get on, and they're loud Yankees. I know I'm stereotyped, but I hate when my stereotypes get reinforced, but that day my stereotype got reinforced. And I'm getting madder and madder inside. I'm supposed to have the mind of Christ inside. I don't at this point. They get on and they start talking about skiing, and I'm like, I'm trying to get home to get to work. I have to get home. They're going to get on a flight to go skiing. They don't deserve to fly. I deserve to fly. So I'm starting to get really mad. And then the 13-year-old punk kid looks at his mom and says, Mom, I can't effing wait to effing go on this effing trip because we're effing going to have all kinds of. And I wait for the slap. And the mom goes, "Oh, you're effing right." And I'm just, and at that point, there's just, this human debris is going to get to fly. Oxygen thieves are going to get to fly, and I don't get to. So we get it. I can't tell you how miserable we feel, Christy. Because we're just stuck. We're lost. There's no way. We're 6 o'clock flight, 7 o'clock flight, 8 o'clock flight. Looked up. I look at Chris and said, the only hope we have to get home is rent a car and drive. And for us to do that, we got to leave right now. We go to the rent-a-car place on the shuttle. Chris is up there, and I see her do this. I go up there, what's wrong? Girls, when you're explaining your problem to a guy, and he says, okay, we can do this. That's how he tells you he loves you. Because if there's a problem, we need to fix it. And I need to think of ways to fix it. And if you're on fire, I need to put you out. You just want to tell me you're on fire. You want me to listen that you're on fire. I want to put the fire out so you don't die. I want to help. Okay? She said it's $750. So we're not driving. So we are stuck. So we go back to the hotel. The boys start watching this stupid show. And I would hate the show anyway, but because it was at this time, it magnified the stupidity. It was the Lava Girl show. And I'm just sitting there on the bed, having a nervous breakdown, and this stupid show is on. We go back to that evening, we go back to the airport to try again. We try twice, and then Christy starts looking up stuff. We even tell them, hey, we'll fly anywhere to get back to Dallas. They said, no, everything's booked. You can't get anywhere. She finds 2 flights out of Des Moines. Sunday afternoon. One has 20 seats, one has 25 seats. And she says that, I look at her and I say, Christy, we rent a car, we drive to Des Moines, we drive right by the University of Iowa. We get to stop and take a picture of Pacer in front of Kennedy Stadium. So I got my dream. Not the way I wanted God. That's not how I would think to do it. But all that added up to, I got exactly what I wanted. Have a good day. We get videos tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
Videos tomorrow. Right.
We got it.